He arrived in the Philippines the way rich tourists usually do, quietly, comfortably, and completely unaware of how fragile money becomes when your body gives up on you. His name was Adrian Weiss, German passport, early 40s. CEO of a mid-sized European logistics company that moved things people never thought about: medical equipment, emergency supplies, refrigerated cargo. He had money, status, and a carefully curated life where problems were solved with phone calls and invoices. The Philippines was supposed to be a break: sun, water, cheap mango shakes. A few Instagram photos to prove he was grounded and connected to the real world. He booked a high-end resort in Palawan, the kind where the staff greets you by name before you even say it, and towels appear the moment your skin touches water. For the first 3 days, everything went exactly as planned. Then on the fourth night, his body betrayed him. It started with a dull pain in his stomach, nothing dramatic, just uncomfortable. Adrian blamed the seafood, or the ice, or maybe the street-side grilled chicken he'd insisted on trying despite the concierge's polite hesitation. "I travel all the time," he'd said confidently. "My stomach is trained." By midnight, his stomach had clearly resigned from duty. He woke up sweating through his sheets, dizzy, nauseous, with a fever climbing faster than his patience. He tried standing and nearly collapsed. The room spun like he'd been drinking, except he hadn't touched alcohol. He reached for his phone. No signal. The resort Wi-Fi was down due to a storm earlier that evening. His international roaming barely clung to life, flashing one bar like a cruel joke. Adrian did what rich people often do when things go wrong. He assumed someone would come. He called the front desk. No answer. He pressed the emergency button near the bed. Nothing. He tried to walk to the door, but his legs shook. His vision blurred. Panic crept, and not the dramatic kind, but the quiet realization that money doesn't matter when you're alone and weak. Eventually, he managed to open the door and stagger into the hallway. That's when he collapsed. He didn't know how long he was there, minutes or hours, but he woke up to a woman kneeling beside him, fanning his face with a folded piece of cardboard. She wasn't in uniform. She wasn't part of the resort staff. She was barefoot. "Sir, can you hear me?" Her English had a soft accent, gentle and careful. Adrian tried to respond, but only managed to groan. She immediately shifted position, placing one arm behind his shoulders, careful not to move him too much. Okay. Don't talk. You're burning up." He registered her face slowly. Late 20s, maybe early 30s. Dark hair tied back in a messy bun. No makeup, simple clothes. She looked ordinary. And somehow that made her presence extraordinary. She pressed the back of her hand to his forehead and clicked her tongue. "You have fever." "Strong one." She reached into a small cloth bag she carried and pulled out a bottle of water, carefully lifting his head. "Small sips, huh?" Slowly. He obeyed because he couldn't do anything else. "What's your name?" He croaked. "Maria," she said. "I live nearby. I was walking back from my cousin's house when I saw you." "Why?" "Help?" She smiled, confused by the question. "Because you're sick." That was it. No hesitation, no calculation. She waved down a resort guard who finally appeared, half asleep and flustered, and immediately took control of the situation. "He needs clinic," she said firmly. "Now his fever is high." "He's dehydrated." The guard stammered something about calling management. "No," Maria said. "You call tricycle." "I'll go with him," Adrian wanted to protest. He wanted to say he had insurance, connections, options. But his body shut down again and the world went dark. He woke up in a small rural clinic. Not the resort hospital he imagined. Not private, not polished. A ceiling fan creaked above him. The smell of antiseptic mixed with something herbal. A nurse was adjusting an IV in his arm. And there, sitting on a plastic chair beside the bed, was Maria, fast asleep. her head resting against the wall, clutching her bag. He stared at her, confused. Later, when the doctor came, he explained what had happened. Severe bacterial infection, possibly from food or water. You waited too long if no one found you. Could have been dangerous. Adrian swallowed. How long was I unconscious? Almost 8 hours. 8 hours. He looked at Maria again. She stayed? He asked. The doctor nodded. She insisted. Helped us translate some things. She even went home to get clean clothes for you. Why? Adrian asked again, unable to let go of the question. The doctor smiled softly. Filipino hospitality? It's not a slogan. It's habit. When Maria woke up, she was embarrassed to find Adrian staring. Oh, sorry, she said quickly, standing up. I didn't mean to sleep. No, he said. Please, sit. She hesitated, then sat again. You saved me, Adrian said quietly. She waved it off. Anyone would help. He shook his head. No, not anyone. Over the next 2 days, Adrian stayed in that small clinic. The resort management eventually found out and offered to transfer him to a private hospital. He refused. Maria visited every day. She brought lugaw, bananas, warm water. She reminded him to drink, to rest, not rush recovery. He learned she worked as a public school teacher. She lived with her parents. She earned just enough to get by. When he asked why she hadn't gone back to the resort to ask for compensation, she laughed. Help is not business, she said. You were just a person. That sentence stayed with him. He learned things he'd never paid attention to before. That many Filipinos avoid confrontation but act immediately in emergencies. That clinics in rural areas survive on limited resources but incredible dedication. That community often replaces systems when systems fail. He also learned something uncomfortable, that in his world, kindness often came with contracts. Here, it came with rice porridge and silence. When Adrian finally recovered, he offered Maria money. She refused immediately. He insisted. She stood up and looked genuinely hurt. I didn't help you for that, she said softly. He apologized. Instead, he asked if he could visit her school. A week later, he stood in front of a classroom with peeling paint, overcrowded desks, and children sharing textbooks. Maria taught with energy, humor, and patience. She knew every child's name, family situation, and learning pace. That night, Adrian made a call, not to a lawyer, not to an assistant, to his board. Within 6 months, Adrian's company partnered with a Philippine NGO to fund rural clinics and schools starting with Maria's barangay. The clinic received new equipment, refrigeration for medicine, reliable power backup. The school received supplies, internet access, teacher training support. Maria never became famous. She never asked for recognition. She continued teaching. And Adrian? He stopped calling the Philippines a vacation. He called it the place where you learn that wealth doesn't impress sickness, fear, or survival. People do, and sometimes the only person who helps is the one who expects nothing back.